Hello world, Clinton here. Today it is my very, very unfortunate, sad duty to give news that nobody wants to hear whatsoever. This is the last thing you want to hear. It's like ripping a band-aid off of a wound that nobody wants to look at. It's like avoiding your doctor and not getting a diagnosis on something because you're scared of hearing it and would rather just ignore it. But that's exactly why this is exactly the time to talk about it. And if I have to be the bearer of bad news, that's fine. You think what I'm about to say is going to make things worse. In the short run, maybe so. In the long run, it's important that we just face the facts in this right now. Get it over with. Here's Time columnist David French quoting Donald Trump complaining about voting machines. The president has retreated to the farthest fringes of conspiracy theory, to the software vote fairy that magically changes the count. 2018, the Ontario news program, The Agenda, posted about problems with online voting. And in response to their article about electronic voting in Ontario, I responded with a link to an obligatory webcomic and said the following. When voting goes digital, I lose faith in the electoral process. I trust people counting paper. I don't trust the chain of trust in computing. As a hardcore computer nerd, my very faith in democracy is at stake here, and I'll pay the taxes to keep paper voting. Costs more money. Fine. Pay it. Here's the comic I quoted. Maybe you're not familiar with this webcomic. This is XKCD Comic 2030. It's been popular for a long time. Funny comic. Asking aircraft designers about airplane safety. The designer says, nothing is ever foolproof, but modern airliners are incredibly resilient. Flying is the safest way to travel. Asking building engineers about elevator safety. Elevators are protected by multiple, tried and tested fail-safe mechanisms. They're nearly incapable of failing. Asking software engineers about computerized voting. That's terrifying. Wait, really? Don't trust voting software, and don't listen to anyone who tells you it's safe. Why? I don't quite know how to put this, but our entire field is bad at what we do, and if you rely on us, everyone will die. And then it goes on to crack a joke at blockchain and Bitcoin and whatnot. So these comics always have a hidden text. The hidden text on this one reads, there are lots of very smart people doing fascinating work on cryptographic voting protocols. We should be funding and encouraging them and doing all of our elections with paper ballots until everyone currently working in that field has retired. Now, who the hell am I? Nobody. That's why you shouldn't listen to me. I'm just some random guy on the internet. On whom can I refer? On whose authority can I ground all of this? Try the collective wisdom of every computer nerd on the internet for the past, 2 decades since electronic voting became a thing in the early 2000s with, the 2004 American presidential election. Let's go to Slashdot for a minute. Slashdot, huge nerd website. News for nerds, stuff that matters. Here's my account. Here's my... Let you see it here. Here's my 6-digit user ID, meaning I've been a member of this website for over a decade. I've got excellent karma. In fact, I've been made a moderator. I've been reading the site every day for 15 years at least, okay? Go search voting machine. Yeah. Go to Slashdot. Use this little search box you see in the upper right. Search voting machines. And you can go read the opinions of people who have been talking about voting machines. I mean, everyone in technology, all the computer programmers, all the computer nerds, all the engineers, the people who are building the very infrastructure of our entire world, people who read XKCD for fun. And go read some of their opinions on voting machines going back to, here we go, 2010, 2009, 2008. Damning report on e-voting security. Voting machines and calibration drift. That's when the screens get misaligned and you click over here and it clicks down there. Diebold was the vendor for voting machines. They were basically the bad guys of voting machines. The secrecy of vote, right? Voting machines have been something I've been reading about almost every day in the news for 15 years, and everyone's collective opinion who knows something is that they're terrible and that you shouldn't trust them. Just read through the comments. Here's how it works. You see a story, you click on it once, All right. Secret, right? Here's an interesting story from, like 13 years ago. You click on the link again. Oh, you click on the number here. You get to go read the comics. Seriously, or the comments, excuse me. Every comment is going to look like this. How do we deal with these issues? Easy. You throw out the voting machines and manually tabulate votes. It's really easy. You have a written typed ballot, and then, right? People have been inventing their ideal secure voting mechanism online. I've been reading people's opinions for 15 years now. And the answer is always a giant box full of paper. You know what you can trust? A giant box full of paper with lots of humans standing there watching the giant box full of paper and watching the people count the pieces of paper in the box. Does it take a long time? Yes. Now, this is horrible freaking news. This is terrible news. This is a terrible opinion for people who have full faith in the results of a very recent, very prominent election where everyone who wants a certain outcome wants to have faith in the integrity of their election process. And I'm sitting here right now telling you, for the last 15 years, I have had no faith in any election process. I'm extremely cynical about the integrity of Western democracy for much, much longer than just this one election. And I do not want this sort of media narrative building to interfere with the very important activist work, which is highlighting the flaws in the way in which our democracies are currently run. David French is wrong here. Everyone should be preparing themselves for having the current media narrative, for having the current election results being upturned with real evidence. You should be preparing yourself stoically for losing faith in your current media narrative. This is a shit show. The election's not over yet. I'm sorry. Terrible news. No one wants to hear it. Buckle up. The math is going to speak for itself. The results are going to speak for itself. And everyone really needs to become an adult and pay attention to the reality of the situation and not just try to socially construct through opinionating and shaming and celebrating and emotionally get people invested in something which has yet not been figured out. All right? Sorry. Hate to be the bad guy. That's what's going on. Buckle up. All right? Take care of yourself. Brace yourself. Pay attention. Don't trust guys like this to give you an opinion that just makes your emotions feel better, okay? Take care.